Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of The Stone Genius. My name is Roro. You know me, I am the Stone Genius. I am often stoned. I'm always a genius. I don't know if you could tell by that intro, I'm stoned right now. I don't know if you could tell that, but I'm telling you. I don't know why I'm whispering. A, don't care. B, nobody's in the house except the dog. Ugh. You know, and I asked the dog a question. I was not expecting an answer, but then as soon as it came out of my mouth, I said yes. Yes, it is difficult. I asked the dog, is it difficult to be that beautiful? Nope, that probably wasn't a snare drum. She is so whiny though. About everything. We're going to talk about animals today. Basically, we're going to talk about two animals. They are not dissimilar except for their size. I'm talking about the squirrel and the Sasquatch. Just now realizing two of my favorite animals both have S's and Q's in them. And I'm pretty sure, although not positive, I'm pretty sure that if I was playing Scrabble, I would get some points. Because you know if you got a Q, you got a U, I think, most of the time. Unless it's BBQ, which is barbecue, never, whatever. Let's see. So the reason, we're just going to jump in. The reason that I have squirrels and Sasquatches, besides the obvious, connected here is not because of full-grown squirrels and any type of Sasquatch. It has to do with baby squirrels. And I was just wondering if anyone had ever seen baby squirrels in the wild. I feed squirrels, and all the squirrels I feed are full grown. I have never seen one not full grown. I think I once saw a runt, maybe it was a baby, but it seems like for the number of squirrels that I see and feed, that I would see a baby or two. I mean, some of these squirrels come up to me. So I would think that if they had a baby, that if they were, and I don't know how actually I do know how other humans treat most squirrels. So I would think that I would be at or near the top of a parent squirrel if they were going to introduce their young to a human. I would be that human. I don't think there would be there's no discussion about that. I really don't think, I will say that there's probably a large contingent of feeders of squirrels across this great nation, perhaps the world, I don't know. So I just feel like as much as I've been around squirrels the last at least 5 years, that I would have stumbled on a baby squirrel. Much like someone might stumble upon a Sasquatch, a Bigfoot, if you care to go that direction. Some parts of the world, it has other names. Actually, even in the United States, it has different names. I think it's called stuff. I don't know. What the fuck? There's different names, I'm sure of it, but I don't actually 100% know. So I'm just wondering whether, I mean, we know there's squirrels, but we don't see baby squirrels. So how about if there's Sasquatch? And you're like, well, we don't see adult Sasquatches. I'm not trying to make a direct correlation, but I'm trying to make a correlation that there might be an animal. And I would think that squirrels are more prevalent. I will just say this. I am not an alarmist in most instances. However, if the Sasquatch population or anything that would be tied into that genre of being, we'll call it Sasquatch Bigfoot. If that Sasquatch Bigfoot is as prevalent as squirrels are, we as humans do not stand a chance. I mean, I'm old enough. I remember Harry and the Hendersons. If you don't know it, look it up. I don't believe that big feet will be like that. Sasquatchies, Sasquatchians. So that's a word maybe best not used by someone who has smoked one. Hold on. The over under at Bulls currently smoked would be 4. It's over. And that I wonder if I could ever become so famous that would be a betting line. And then how would they prove that? Like, would they just have cameras on me like all the time? Which I'm not opposed to. I don't think Bobby's opposed to it either. I think that, so see, this is what the dilemma is. Bobby wants to see the money first, and then she's like, I would do that. However, we would have to do that to get the money. It's like the chicken egg thing, or the egg chicken. I don't know which came first. My best guess, Noah's Ark, alien ship, that's what brought all the creatures here. I'm just saying, with the technology that we are currently aware of, and I do say aware of, combined with the increased number of UFO, UAP sightings, what would make more sense? A UFO that had 2 of each animal, because if you can travel through space, you can probably conquer some size too there. So, or even you don't, I don't know, maybe you have so you all know me, especially the genius side, that I will talk out something in my head. It kind of takes me away from other things, so hopefully I get back. I've probably already forgot. But I also will talk things out. But now I forgot both, I think. Hold on, I got a sound for that. If beings can travel through space and time, then why couldn't they have like a miniature elephant and then boop, like the identical opposite? I guess that would just be the opposite of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Once again, if you don't know it, look it up. Because that seems to make more sense. So, like, if someone came to me and say I don't know about, trying to think of, I don't know about the Bible, and someone just said, oh, we need to make sure these animals survive, build an ark. Okay, I get it. A lot of people were handy back then. Not as many today. 100% not me. I am not handy. You know who is handy? My wife. And I don't just mean in the bedroom. Hold on. That should have been it should have been something other than crickets. She's the handy one in the house. So we have a bidet. I love our bidet. I did not install our bidet. Bobby installed our bidet. Bobby Bidet. That would be a good porn name. And all she did was butt stuff. Ooh, that could be her name once again, Bobby thinks that the porn should be making money before we upload it, but we need to upload it first. Anyway, the Sasquatch and the baby squirrels, if you look at squirrels, they have big fucking feet too. I mean, they're not as long. Like, yes. A Sasquatch, Bigfoot as we know it, is more humanoid-like in its erectness, the way it stands. I just wanted to say erect. Its erectness, the way it walks erectly. Which is different than walking rectally. No. However, if you saw a Sasquatch do things on a tree and jump limb to limb, like, could you imagine that? If squirrels ever wanted to take us out, they could. At least, I don't know about everywhere. They're like ninjas. And one time I found a squirrel like in the middle of a field. The only thing above it was like a limb, like 40 feet. But I've never seen a squirrel. Actually, I take that back. Fuck, I'm going to ruin my whole story because I haven't seen baby squirrels, but I've seen full-grown adolescent squirrels. Either that or they're stupid. So I have seen some squirrels that I just attributed to being young, although they look full size. There's some bushes, and they would climb up, and their limbs were much like some of the limbs around here in Kansas City. So they would run to the end. They would see how far they would, and they would try to hang on, and they were just figuring stuff out. And if they fell, they had a short way to go. So I think I've answered a couple of my questions there. And now I think if there's adolescent, so maybe there's really no Sasquatch. That deserves this. No. Yeah. Let's see. Boo. Let's see what else I wrote down. Some people think that we always default
to this voice being a chipmunk voice. And why? I mean, so there's a movie, and in the movie, those chipmunks sound like this.
But why would every chipmunk sound like that? Like now if you hear that voice, anything in that timbre, you think chipmunk. Why can't you think angry beaver? Listen.
Hey, I'm an angry beaver. Nah 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 nah.
That was actually kind of fun. But that, if you picture beaver before the voice starts, I think you can see it. It's better than this one.
No one wants this to be the angry beaver.
I mean, I will tell you this. If that's what Bobby's beaver sounded like that, I would have a difficult time spending as much time as I do with it. Hold on, does that make sense? Sure. Okay. I wanted to make sure I talked that through first. Ooh. A future guest I'm going to have on the show is my half-brother, Jay. So Jay and I, we met a few years ago, seen each other a handful of times, 2 separate occasions, handful of times, and I very much like Jay. We grew up totally different. No way I grow up to be like Jay. He has a manly personality. I have a defective personality. So I've talked about it before. And some people want to be like, well, if you grew up just knowing that you're going to eat frog legs, you would eat frog legs. No, I 100% beg to differ. I would have been starved. They probably would have been arrested because I was so skinny as a child. They're like, oh, why does this 18-year-old boy only weigh 4 pounds? Which I don't know why they would care about an 18-year-old boy because I'm kind of an adult at that point. And 4 pounds. I mean, babies are heavier than that. And babies are heavier than that. So I'm gonna have Jay on. We're gonna talk about. I want to find out some things like when did he find out about me? What did he think about me? Was he nervous when he met me? What did he think about after he met me? So he's a hunter and a linesman and like a man. So, I mean, I know I'm a man, but I mean, like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm okay, but I'm not, like a man's man. And for those of you that are out there, don't get overly excited because most of you are not either, okay? Just so you know, just dial it back a notch. If you go up in some bucket in an electrical storm to fix lines so that other people have utilities, then you can fall into the man category. And there's some other ones. I can't think of them off the top of my head. Shepherd is probably still one. I mean, it just seems like that would be a difficult job. I would not do it. I mean, I would be talking to the sheep. I would try to name them. They become my best friends. Now I'm thinking about that. Now I'm not going to be able to count sheep at night. I don't count sheep at night. I did ask Bobby. Bobby has had trouble sleeping lately. And I go, so like when you're sitting there like and you're having trouble, what do you think of? And I believe what she told me was her mind was racing and that she couldn't just focus on any one thing. And see, mine is not like that. Mine is generally super focused on one thing as opposed to the show. But I'll do somewhat like I do on the show sometimes is I will take an idea and I will create an idea and then I'll try to blow that idea up because your idea is only as good if it has durability and strength where it needs. So you try to deconstruct it. Sometimes that's very easy. One of the very early shows, I actually think I talked through it, not on air because I know that we're not a radio program, but I talked through it on the show where I started saying I had seen a kid's lemonade stand. I thought that was, I remember doing that. I was like, and today there should be an app out there where people could list lemonade stands so that people in that neighborhood could go and visit and help support the children of the neighborhood or what have you. But then as I'm talking that out, I'm picturing in my head the lemonade stand. And what I'm remembering, now I had my lemonade stand, and I kid you not, was like 1972. 1973, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I was even pre-bicentennial for our country. Fudge, that is old as bulls. But what I remember is generally parents like that because the kids can go out there and do their thing. And at least when I was growing up, and this is how I'm thinking of this, my parents were nowhere near. I mean, seriously, I could have raked in like $1,100 and then been robbed at gunpoint by someone probably on foot because this was the early 70s. They didn't need a getaway car. They could have just blended into whatever Overland Park, Kansas was at that time. And I'm not going to say it was devoid of organized crime members at that point. Sorry, coming back from another cough episode. I can't even say it correctly. Anyway, so the lemonade stand. So I was talking through that, and then I was like, oh, so at least when I was doing it and my sister, we were not regulated at all. And so then I was thinking, so an app would basically be sending anyone, including probably people that shouldn't be around children, it could send them directly to a child, knowing that they would have maybe little to no supervision, and they would probably be sitting closer to the curb than the porch. So I went from, hey, this would be a great idea, to, oh my gosh, it would be a great idea. For pedophiles, that would just be an amazing idea. Everyone else, not so much. And I think in this instance, it's the everyone else, not so much crowd that really dictates how we treat that situation. Let's see, what else? Ba-doop, boop, ba-doop, boop. So here's some notes. I think I may have mentioned this before. But if aliens visited us, even 10,000 years ago, did the pyramids, whatever, it means that cosmically, if the universe is 13 billion plus years old, it means that we miss them by such a small fraction of a second. And if that was their one time here, hold on, I got a sound for that. Which leads me also, and I've mentioned this before, after a sermon series that we had, I wanted to mention again that if God did want to be efficient, he could have just waited 1,000 years. I mean, I don't know what the rush was, having the history that we have from Adam and Eve to Jesus coming, but I think if he would have just waited another 2,000 years till like present day with Twitter and Facebook and everything else, that it just would have been easier. And I would think that, and I'm not a god. I don't propose that I would be a great cult leader, but I'm not a god. So I'm just saying that if it was me, I personally would want to make it easier. So I would have just moved that timeline around a little. That, once again, that's just me. Let's see. Bobby's trying to get really funny with like writing joke, not writing, but saying funny stuff like a joke that could be used by someone else by just changing a name in it. And so I said that from now on, I'm not doing accents, I'm just doing voices. And if they're like, oh, well, that sounds like it's Scottish, then it's not. It's just a voice that I decided to use out of a conglomeration of thoughts that I had in my head. And that's when Bobby says, well, maybe you're just doing the voices in your head. And I was like, wouldn't that be cool? I mean, I don't think I actually hear physical voices ever in my head, like, oh, but maybe when I need to go write something down, I get the urge, whatever, however. As an American, we love nothing more than a good accent. I said good accent. See, I said I wasn't going to do accents, so that was not an accent. That was just a voice. But you get it. I mean, I would think, and especially if I was going to take it, because if I am watching two things, this same exact information message being delivered, but I am seeing them delivered by an American accent, or say any accent, good accent, English, French, let's say whatever. Top of the morning to you. No, I mean that, God, I'm really, so here's the thing, that because I've said I'm bad at accents, I'm actually getting worse. I'm not getting better. The more I try to, that's why I say I'm doing voices, not accents, because literally the more I try to do it and correct it, the worse it becomes. It is nearly like my golf swing. The more, hold on. I do need to work on my golf swing. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. I wonder if Jay can do any accents. I need to ask him that. Hello, brother. Can you do any accents? I don't know. It sounded like a constipated animal of some sort. I don't know what type, but definitely constipated. Because that would be nice to know if Jay could do that. And I wonder how often. Like, I do voices like here. I would be more concerned with someone finding my dash cam footage after I die than I am my browser. I don't give a shit about my browser history. Go at it. I talk during traffic. I discuss with other drivers. I mean, I do understand that they can't hear me. I'm pretending like because my dash cam has an interior cab view with audio. And so I often narrate to the other drivers some of the rules of the road that they are not following correctly. And often within a city block, you would be amazed at how many different violations a single person could make. And I'm generally focused on one person. I could pick anyone, honestly, but I'm generally just focused on one person. Let's see. What other notes do I have? Oh, right. I've seen in recent days, recent weeks, Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs and Dave Ramsey from Dave Ramsey something or other talking a lot. And here's my thing. Let's go to Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey, I believe, has filed bankruptcy multiple times. So I'm just going to say this, that so here's the deal. If I have filed bankruptcy 4 or more times, I would be more likened to listen to Mr. Ramsey. All the information he gives is the same information that if you had a decent grandfather, they gave you at one point in time. Whether you listened or not, that is up to you. And I did see a video recently on the John Oliver show last week tonight. And I don't remember what his timeshares and something, but he goes off. What a fucking prick he was. What a prick. And then Mike Rowe, like, I don't understand why people think that he is the go-to about jobs. I mean, I agree with him that vocational school, different avenues are for different people. I 100% agree with him on that. But like to say that it's almost like he is the job czar. Like Fox News likes to go to him to find out what the pulse is of today's man and being out there and working. And here's my thing. All I remember about Mike Rowe is that he had a lot of jobs. Like literally more than I did. And I lived next to a mall. And I had a lot of jobs at that mall. I mean, a lot of jobs at that mall. And it would be like he did all of them. And then he did like the support for the mall, like maintenance and janitorial and office. And like he did literally every job. And he couldn't keep one. I mean, and yeah, I get it. They're dirty jobs. I would never do any of those. And somebody's got to do it and all this. That's great. I don't give a shit. Honestly. I mean, 2 things. If you are, say, a septic tank disposal retrieval, I don't know how that term is. So you drive a truck and you go pick up other people's shit. If that is your job, I can only imagine, and I would love to talk to someone and be corrected if I am incorrect. And if there's a chance that you're a toilet baby also, that would be amazing. I'm just saying. I mean, if I could get a twofer like that, I fucking A would go out and buy a lottery ticket. I mean, if someone came to me and said, yeah, I do septic tanks, probably has something to do with, I was born in a toilet. I would be like, oh my gosh, that is amazing. I would not let them out of my sight. Literally, I would staple myself to them. I would zip tie myself to them. I would not let that person out of my sight. I would drag them to go get a lottery ticket because my luck, I'd wait until just after they closed. So I would do that first, and then I would take them with me. But Micro had a lot of jobs, like every single week. I don't remember, I could be wrong, but I don't ever remember him having the same job 2 weeks in a row. And if you don't think that's a little pathetic, then you probably don't have a job right now. I mean, how do you have a new job every single week? I don't get that. What was that? Yeah. Let's see. Oh, here's a note. I wrote, do you remember when Shoop was nasty? I mean, I do remember when that song came out and the video. Oh, they were so scantily clad. It was almost like boy shorts, but probably a little longer, and tops covering their torso. But Shoop, because Shoop, I believe, I would have to go back and look at my 1980s lingo, but I believe Shoop was fuck or make love. Depending on what point of the song you're in, I believe there was a brief mention of lovemaking. Most of it was fucking. I believe Shoop is a more aggressive, non-romantic endeavor. But yeah, that was, I remember when that was pretty nasty. I can't even, I have no idea what that was. Nasty. Ugh, I have no idea what that note is. And I probably wrote that while sober. Okay, I think that's about it. It's going to be a short show today because we've had some long ones. And some of you probably just got through those. And maybe you need a break. I want this to be, I will give one of the shout outs that I want to give where I currently work, my full-time gig, which I know I've said I want to give up eventually. I love the guys I work for. And one of the cool things is, as a small business, we're open to a certain time and sometimes even 15, 20 minutes early. They'll just shut down the whole store. Just, we're done. Or up to an hour early, just be like, hey, why don't you take off? And the owner will stay. So I am coming from a major corporation where the managers, if we were short staffed, they would just leave. Well, that's not my job. My job is not actually to work and help. And so I will say that having that type of support is amazing. So much like that, on some days, like today, we got so busy, I wouldn't have been able to take a lunch until an hour, and we take our lunches to an hour and a half before I would have gotten off. So I would have left, come back for a half an hour, and it's nice to, can I just leave an hour early? Because I tell you, in a major corporation, that would have been a nightmare. No, you need to take your lunch. Okay. Thanks. So it is amazing having that. So much like my spirit gets lifted when sometimes they're like, hey, why don't you go ahead and take off, get out of here? I am going to give you this short show to give you a breather. We should have the Crane Organic guys back on soon. Comedians, abuse survivors. We're going to be running the gamut of people to be on this show. I do hope to have one or both of the owners of the company that I work for on the show. We're going to be busy at work the next few weeks. I mean, it's going to be good. I mean, it's going to be one of those things where as a salesperson, you're going to be like, I can't stop selling, which if you've ever edited or uttered those words, it's pretty amazing. So let's see. Chipmunk, boom. Jay, boom. God spreading his word more efficiently, boom. Mike Rowe, whoosh. Dave Ramsey, whoosh. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Shoop. This should be the Shoop Sasquatch Squirrel. Dang, I wish Shoop had a Q and a U in it. That'd be Squoop. Makes sense to me. I mean, who's going to know? I mean, most of the young people, I don't know if they know what Shoop is. So if they don't know what Shoop is, they're not going to know what Squoop is either, I would assume. I would say that even though they have the ability to research that at their fingertips, I'm going to say they're probably not going to. Let's see. What do I have in my future? I have, what's the over-under on bowls for the rest of the evening? Let's say the over-under is 1. Okay? We'll see. We'll see if I'm literally packing a bowl right now saying, I wonder if I'll smoke another bowl. So I would say without having to work the day following this recording, I will say the over-under is easily 8 more bowls tonight. I have a baseball stadium to build in MLB The Show. I have, that's pretty much it. That's literally all I have. But I've been saying I was going to do this for some time. I'm going to do it. 22, not 23. I love baseball, but I just don't care that much. I have a game. That's all I need. But I am going to build a new stadium. That'll be fun. Thanks for listening. Let's see. Anything else? Nope. We got cool guests coming on. Bobby will be back on. We have some shoes to review, so that'll be fun. Anyway, for all of you that have made it through, wow, almost 40 minutes. Congratulations for you all. I would do clapping, but then I got to move the buttons, and never mind. Just we're going to do this. Hey, thank you all for listening to the show. My name is Ro. I am the Stone Genius. Thanks for listening to the podcast. We'll talk to y'all soon.